Eventually, after a little introduction, this is going to be about a play entitled The Green Pastures. Young is stupid. Young equals stupid. Now I know that's a generalization and therefore worthless, an exaggeration, a distortion, and it's coming from an old fart, no less, but I'm going to stick with it. Young is stupid. It may be a wonderful stupidity, or a brave stupidity. There are all sorts of qualifiers that could be attached to that stupidity, and there are abundant reasons to explain it, like ignorance, bravado, and inexperience, but it's still there. Young is stupid. I was most decidedly stupid when I was young, deeply and broadly stupid, and it took me quite some time before I could, not exactly forgive myself for being so stupid, but to simply admit it and to make allowance for it without completely destroying my self-confidence and move on. And it isn't as if stupid goes away when you get older. It doesn't. But I think it calms down a bit, becomes more muted, a bit subtler than the all-out, raging, ringing, brass band stupidity of youth. I was listening to a music box play the other day. You wind it up, and at first it plays too quickly, madly, crazy, stupid, mangling the tune. Then it settles down and plays the song a time or two. It slows until it spits out each note almost painfully, stupidly, a different kind of stupid, but stupid nonetheless, and then abruptly it stops, somewhere in the middle of the song. And of course I thought, life is like that. That's not what I want to talk about. I was reading a book, I think it was by Haywood Broun, but that's not important, and the author wrote that he had seen a performance of the play The Green Pastures. He loved it and was especially moved by one of the actors. I recall that I owned a copy of this play and that I had not read it, so I decided to do that. Like that play Hamilton, I think, all of the performers in this play, and it has a huge cast, are black, or African American, or Negro, if you refer to the time when it was written, 1930. The author was Marc Connolly, a white man, borrowing from folk tales written by a black man. The play won a Pulitzer Prize, but it was not universally accepted, especially by black critics, as an authentic presentation of black beliefs or speech. The voice of all the characters is simple, uneducated, soulful. There is a choir and much gospel singing, Negro spirituals. At the outset, a little girl is being taught her catechism by a Sunday school teacher-preacher. The play moves to a fish fry in heaven. God, often called Delod, is creating the universe. He gets to earth and Adam and Eve. They disappoint him. Cain kills his brother, and things get so bad that God becomes the God of wrath, and he destroys everything but Noah and the ark. Mankind gets a fresh start, but it screws it up again, and the God of wrath returns, unleashing havoc on Egypt, so Moses can lead his people to the promised land. That doesn't work out either, and faced with Babylon, Sodom, and Gomorrah, which look like a lively night in New Orleans, God gives up and turns his back on humanity. Later, he's curious and moved by a few new arrivals in heaven, so he returns to earth to see what's up. And he learns that those who still revere him, a small number to be sure, are worshiping a new God, a God of mercy, not wrath. And he asks one of them where this mercy came from, and the answer is through suffering. Thinking about this, God realizes that if he is to be merciful, he must also suffer. And that means that he will be sending Jesus to earth to suffer and die for the sins of humanity. You'd think that God would be smart enough to know that this won't work out either, but the play ends, hopefully, with the redemptive act of Jesus on the cross at Golgotha. The question I have is this: could someone, say a genius in tune with his time like Lin-Manuel Miranda, successfully stage this play today? There's certainly enough sinfulness, stupidity, corruption, and bloodshed to make it relevant, but would the audience be receptive to the thumping of the Bible? Would they accept the catechism? In essence, it's the problem of the prophets. Vox clamantis in deserto. They've got the message, but is there anyone who will listen?